And so he said, "It's coming home." and I said, "What is?" And he said, the man who follows me through the streets, the man who smells my every movement and documents my every fear, the man who longs for me to die but won't let me live, the man in the golden coat.
Oh, Owen Jones.
Yeah.
No, I like Owen Jones.
Yeah.
It's just
Same. He's Coldplay.
Yes,
Like, it's fair game to take the piss, even if you're on a site.
Yeah,
so
it's okay.
There you go.
He's had his self-deprecating moments. Hello, hello.
Hi. Hi. England, eh?
England.
Oh, England.
What a shithole.
You know, it's funny. This is how out of touch with Euro 2020 we are. We're recording this making what we consider topical joke on Monday morning about the 4-0 result from Saturday night.
Was it 4-0?
4-0.
Jesus. I didn't even watch it.
And yet...
Oh, I don't give a fuck.
And yet, there's probably a game between now and this episode coming out which could completely change the feeling. So us going, "It's coming home" at the top could actually make some people really upset.
It's homing come, it's homing come, it's homing, it's all in my eyes, it's homing come.
Oh my god.
Hello and welcome to the Big Damn Cast.
Hey, despite what you just heard, nerdy news, geeky gossip, pop culture shit that's here to distract you before the inevitable second apocalypse. We're still recovering from the first one to the point where... Tell them what happened just before we started doing the actual show.
So yeah, we so when we've been recording this set, because now we're recording it together again.
Listen,
when we've been...
I'm touching him.
Oh, don't touch me.
Oh. It's homing come.
So what we've gotten into the habit of doing, because we've been recording it separately and I've been editing the audio together, is we'll just do a little couple of minutes preamble before we actually start the show, which I will then sync up. It used to help sync up and chop out of the final podcast. So we've just been recording for 2 minutes, talking shit, and then I'm going to do the time.is to sync.
Yes, we've got a stopwatch, as it were.
Yeah, and I realised we don't need to. And then I just kept doing it. So I've just started. It's just the habits that we've got into, the habits that I, Matthew Geronius Watson.
Is that your intro this
week? And he,
Chris Bartholomew Johnson.
Yeah, have gotten into over this last year and a bit of recording in isolation.
It's mad, isn't it?
Which we'll probably have to go back to at some point because look at the way we're handling it.
I mean, also just like scheduling in jobs and work and things like that. I mean, who knows when one of us is going to get a bloody isolation alert that's proper serious, and we have to. It's oh Christ, I guess we're stuck in at home again.
Yeah.
And I had a near scare with that week before last, which was bloody horrible and ridiculous.
Oh, we had a near scare this weekend, which meant that I had to sleep at my parents on Friday. But I'll tell you about that later. I completely forgot to tell you about that.
Near scare that meant you had to sleep at your parents. Do you mean you you pulled a horrible Halloween style prank on Keith?
Yeah, she kicked me out. No. I'll tell you about that. I completely forgot to tell you about that.
Sorry.
But I also completely forgot to tell you about the emails that we've got.
Segue into content. We're bringing you content. Daddy made you some content. Open wide.
So we're doing them at the start of the show this week because
we missed some. So
and when we can, it's our show.
It's the world we live in. It's the hands we're given. Use them. Let's start trying to make this. Quick, read the emails. Quick.
So we've got...
Oh, thank God.
First one comes in from Ian.
Hey, Ian.
Pressing question from Ian.
Oh, shit biscuits.
When's Charlie coming back?
Charlie never left.
Charlie won't hear from him again.
Yeah, we just don't let him talk during recordings normally. Yeah, we had a lovely response for the anniversary episode. It's do you know what blew my mind? It just felt like the natural way to celebrate, didn't it? This time was to let's do another live one.
Let's do a live one.
We go out on camera and everything.
Let's do a live one.
Let's do a big old Liverpudlian episode.
Let's do a Liv Tyler episode. We're going to talk about Aerosmith music videos, Lord of the Rings, and Armageddon.
And parental disownership, and how it's really unhealthy in the public eye, public sphere. But yeah, we doing it live just felt like a natural thing to do after the year we've had, and the fact that we all could, and the fact that us and our guest were all half vaxxed. So it was you were fully vaxxed by that point. So it was like let's get together, let's do this. It felt like the natural way to go, but it made me realise, oh my god, it's been 3 years since the second anniversary, which was the last time we did one like that.
Well, that's why it's the 5th anniversary. That's how maths works, man.
I know, but it really made me realise how much time has passed, especially this last year. Like, it really weirded me out. The 4th anniversary was done in lockdown, so what's our unique angle this time? Just get fucking pissed. Yeah. Just get really drunk. Why not? We're stuck at home.
The fourth. Sorry, I've forgotten what I was saying.
4th anniversary. Drunken. Recording. 5th anniversary. On camera.
Oh, yeah, it feels like it's been no time at all, and also several decades. Yeah.
You just before this recording, well, as it started, you were saying, like, why are we doing the sync up? Like,
yeah.
And then you said it's doing it for a year and a half as sort of, it's become a habit now for making this show. And as soon as you said that, it hit me. I was like, yeah, me sat here right now with you recording the show feels like we were doing it 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. We've not stopped doing it this way. And yet, no, there's this pocket dimension where for a year and a half we were separated by like distance, screens, Skype, because we're the ones who are still using Skype.
Differing opinions on the Middle East.
What? So, to answer your question, Ian, he's still here, and we'll allow him one word. Charlie, what do you think of it so far? Right. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Get back in your bag.
This one comes in. This is a lengthy one. This is a girthy one.
Oh, I love a girthy.
Coming in from Jack. Says hello once again, my big boys.
See, when someone misses out the dam, it sounds filthier.
As well it should.
My big boys.
I have done it.
Congratulations.
Or is it like, I've done it? I don't know.
The next sentence is, I've committed a murder.
I did a bad murder. I have caught back up to the pod. That's what. So it could be, I've done it, or I've done it. Who knows? I've watched 8 months worth of Big Damming in the space of 2.5 weeks. Jesus
Holy
Christ.
shit biscuits on a big old barrel full of McVitie drool.
I don't quite know how, but I did. I don't know how. Jeez. Anyway, on to the actual email, including some Doctor Who stuff, maybe?
Does that mean Matt and Chris, two lifelong Doctor Who fans, are going to have to reluctantly answer some Doctor Who questions?
Possibly.
I shall brace myself for impact.
But first,
2 minutes to Belgium.
2 minutes to Belgium.
Sorry,
doesn't quite ring.
I woke the cat up,
no, he's just going to go back to his blanket. He'll be fine. In my younger years, I was absolutely obsessed with the nostalgia critic, angry video game nerd, and most of the That Guy with the Glasses / Channel Awesome creators. However, the nostalgia critic just doesn't do anything for me anymore, especially when there's so much better media criticism out there. A whole lot of it by former colleagues and collaborators.
Yeah.
And of course, the whole Channel Not So Awesome scandal pulls the whole production down, as well as Doug Walker's ego. In a discussion about media you've outgrown a few weeks ago, Chris mentioned a similar feeling. Care to expand? I don't know what there is to expand on, really. I think...
I mean, if they're talking about it in terms like Channel Awesome and Doug Walker, essentially, I discovered him in like 2012, 2013 when I was, living in a flat with no proper television connection really at all and semi-decent Wi-Fi. So, like, finding stuff to just sort of stick on and playlist in the bath was sort of my priority in terms of online entertainment, and that was... I was late to the game. That was when I sort of discovered Nostalgia Critic. I was like, this is kind of funny.
You could only do so much Pornhub.
True. Well, you say that. There's always more. So I just turned Safe Search off. So which is ironic that they even have that. So I
don't want my searches to be safe. Thank you very much.
I want my search to be drunk.
I know what I want.
So I that's where I kind of got into it, and it just that short form 10-minute, slightly piss-takey, wacky skits, Looney Tune logic. I'm sorry, did you just tear the handle off your cup?
No, that had already come off before, and I guess the glue wasn't so good, which is why I'm mainly holding it by that side, and then I just pulled its ear off.
Matt's holding a B a bee-coloured mug with two handles that are shaped like wings, and one of them just tore off in his hand like some form of Asgardian celebratory moment of revelry leading to the smashing of cups.
It had already previously broken and been repaired, but I guess the bond wasn't as solid as I thought it was.
But enough about our relationship,
yeah.
am I right? No, this is
going to put that handle down.
This is Valhalla levels of thingy, except it's not growing back magically and refilling with mead.
No, I'm going to have to super glue that. We'll see.
That was really weird.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, so like that kind of content was just, it was tasty and fun and ridiculous, and it did what it needed to do for me. And then I kind of grew out of it a little bit anyway, and then years later sort of went back to look into it and saw that they'd turned it into this weird... basically, they wanted to, in terms of like what makes their content, that guy with the glasses and Nostalgia Critic team so boring. Yeah. Because they clearly want to make a comedy show. They had a go at it with a show called Demo Reel.
Yeah.
It was painfully bad.
There's a great YouTube video about the sort of history of Demo Reel.
Yes, yeah. Compares it an awful lot to anime as well in terms of its sort of... Was it Evangelion? It sort of compares it to that a lot in terms of how it breaks it down. And in a way we're like, where are you going with this? And then you're like, right, okay. Fair enough. And it's clear that they're not good at this. Like, they have talent as a team. They have talent. No, like... But their talents are mostly functional.
Yeah, I think Doug Walker's...
It's not creative.
Doug Walker's talents are not where he thinks they are.
Yeah, like if someone in the local Chicago area wanted to make a film and they also had their own director, they could hire this team.
Yeah.
And it would help them make their film. But like, don't let this team make their film or direct, because every shot will be from a fucking 1.5 meter tall tripod looking up. Just no thank you. And the problem is the late Nostalgia Critic is just that. It's just that exact same style, which is really...
Yeah.
There's no legit criticism. There's no decent observations. It's all in service of a joke that isn't worth your time.
Case in point, the incredibly self-indulgent...
The Wall. Yeah.
Quote-unquote review.
Yeah.
Which I have... not seen all of, but
you watched
oh Jesus,
Dan Olsen, is that his name?
Yeah, I think it was Dan Olsen's. Yeah,
his what was it called? Comfortably Doug.
Yeah.
It's a great analysis of it.
Wow, that whole trial sequence with all those fucking weird CGI furry what the fuck is that? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, and I love the fact that in his he's like, I have to be the unique person here and say, no, they're not good.
No,
like, they're not good.
They're not.
A lot of people praise that part of the review and say, well, at least that's creative. It's like, creative, yes. Good, no.
No.
Like, not at all. But yeah, it's that was part of why I grew out of all that initially, and it's very easy to not want to ever go back to it now, of course, after the whole change of the channel stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, wow, you covered up like abusers, and you had some working at top levels, and
also a lot of the humour is kind of punching down.
Yeah, so much of it is just that.
Yeah,
so much of it is just that. Or loud equals funny.
Yeah,
and it's like that's not funny.
It's like loud, angry man. It's like, and I'm kind of in not quite the same place, because I think it is more legit criticism, but like with the Red Letter Media stuff, like the Half in the Bag stuff, I just can't watch anymore because it's just so much of Mike being fucking miserable. And it's not
he has picked up, but like I wouldn't say rush back to it.
No,
I'd recommend. For me now with Red Letter Media, I don't tend to bother with Half in the Bag.
No,
I might watch review.
Yeah, reviews can be good,
and I'll jump into a best of the worst, because 9 times out of 10, something from that makes me really chuckle. But Half in the Bag, I know what you mean. There was like a 3-year stretch where Mike Stocaster was just so down, in every possible way, and not in like a God, I hope he's all right. As in why are you like this on camera?
Why are you
why is this the attitude you're bringing to your comedy film show?
Yeah.
What is going on?
But also, I think it is legit criticism, and it's not that I don't want to see legit criticism of things I like. It's just it felt contrarian for the sake of it sometimes, which I'm always kind of wary of. It's like I do, respect the work of film critics who don't like all the things I like. Case in point, people like Lindsay Ellis who don't really rate the Marvel movies and don't like the 2005 War of the Worlds, which is great. And
is
people
pretty
like
great.
that. It is pretty good.
It ain't the book, and I'd like to see.
But it is good.
That team make the book, but it's pretty damn great.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than the BBC one. And so I do follow creators' works who, I don't agree with. It's just that there's something about the attitude that RLM bring to some of their criticism that just sours me on it. Like, I can't watch the Plinkett stuff. The Plinkett stuff. I cannot watch it. I hate it. It just feels so... There's something gross about it. I can't quite put my finger on it.
There's obviously stuff that they've made gross and post, but you're talking about that, what you come away from it feeling.
Yeah, it's just like...
And part of that as well is like how analytical you are as a consumer of media is like you can feel what's behind the decisions that have been made to make it the way it's been made. It's for me, the Plinkett stuff is almost more enjoyable when the focus is on just discussing a film and then dispersing it with this weird storyline about like a kidnapper. That's more enjoyable because at least then I'm like, you've taken your time to make this as bizarrely expanded and creative as possible. When ultimately what you're doing is just like, prequels are a little bit shit, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, and I think the last one of theirs the last Plinkett I enjoyed was the Force Awakens review because it wasn't a Force Awakens review for the first two-thirds. It's an examination of the fan culture's belief in the ring theory. And it was the most like sort of digestible and interesting take on that I'd ever seen. And I actually understood it by the end. I was like, okay. Well, fair enough.
I think as well, like sort of online discourse has taken such a negative bent.
Yeah,
because
one of the reasons why our bloody like video series is called Big Damn Love.
Yeah.
Because we were like, if we're gonna make stuff on camera, let's just talk about shit we like.
Yeah, because there's so much negativity.
Yeah.
Around things, it's just exhausting. Like I don't want to watch someone, and it's become really popular though. Like this idea of just shitting on something for an hour and a half.
But you know what made it popular in the first place? What made it algorithm?
Fucking Doug Walker.
Yeah.
So it's
and James Rolfe, but James Rolfe's playing a very obvious character, and there is an absolute like separation of him and the angry video game nerd. Like, they're very much like two separate things.
It's not that I don't want to see negative criticism of things. It's just that
I'd rather see constructive criticism than negative criticism.
I just don't want to see people going, "Oh, this thing is terrible," and without actually really delving into why it's terrible. They're just like, "Oh, thing bad."
Movie Bob, Really That Good series. He did one Really That Bad and took forever on it.
Yeah,
and it's like 5-6 hours long in total in 3 separate parts about Batman v Superman. And when I first realised that, I was like, oh, what I like about Really That Good is it's kind of a great examination of the makings of these movies.
Yeah.
Is this going to be really depressing? And then I watched it and I was like, no, actually the whole thing was this brilliant like video essay deconstruction of why things didn't work thematically and this, that, and the other. He's not just taking a shit on it. If you want that, go watch his like 6-minute long Pixels review, which is, again, brilliantly written, but it's 6 minutes of your life, and then you move on with your life.
Yeah.
It's not years of... Yeah. So it's just...
Yeah. Anyway, rest of the email. There's more email to come. Doctor Who stuff now.
Oh my god! Matt and Chris, two lifelong Doctor Who fans, reluctantly answer a Doctor Who question, and it is, which Kang team would you be on? Red Kang, obviously. Come on.
Build Hive Happiness. I'm the last survivor of the Yellow Kangs. Me and my girlfriend, Chloe, have been watching through New Who, and we've just finished series 9.
Sorry. I had to.
I used to dislike...
Loud equals funny.
Loud does equal funny, as we've learned from Doug Walker.
I watched the Lele Pons masterclass, and now I'm loud, and that means I'm funny.
He's just got a face of a punch. Anyway, I used to dislike series 8 and 9, but on rewatch, I actually quite enjoy a lot of it.
Oh, fair enough.
Hellbent is still all over the place. First half, great. Chloe didn't pick up on the hybrid thing, which, to be fair, neither did I on my first watch, but she didn't miss much, let's be honest. I mean, the hybrid stuff makes no sense anyway.
Yeah, it's very awkwardly delivered.
Yeah.
It's also the fact that it's like set up in episode 2 as like, this is the arc for this year.
Yeah.
And then basically just people occasionally say, like a hybrid. And then at the end of the series, it's like, yeah, you two... You're the hybrid that will destroy Gallifrey.
That's not really? What a hybrid is.
Really? I'm pretty sure the Master goes and destroys it later on, but sure.
I'm sure. Is the master? The master's been the hybrid all along.
It was master all along. That meme's still fresh.
Still fresh memes.
It's as fresh as a motorway service station sausage roll is at 6:30 p.m.
Yes.
Oh,
Fucking
yeah.
hell. Looking forward to watching Series 10 with it, which is one of my favourites. Series 10, apart from the Monk trilogy, is actually pretty strong.
Take out the Monk trilogy, and it's a damn fine
It's a shame that they spent like a third of that series on that really dumb art, but hey, what are you going to do?
Well, it started out great. Like, what the hell's he looking at? What? Oh, this is why he's set up here. There's something in the basement.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? It was a great idea, but then, it's just sort of like, oh, it's Missy. Oh, right, okay.
Why are you doing that again? Oh, because Stephen Moffat likes Michelle Gomez.
She is great.
Yes.
Just like, weirdly written.
Yeah. Stephen Moffat, keep your kinks out of your writing.
Too late.
Oh, no!
Too late.
Along the way, I've been watching McCoy's last series with Chloe tagging along, but hasn't been as engaged. Well, can't really blame her. I love it. However, Ghostlight.
Oh, I adore Ghostlight.
I adore Ghostlight.
But if you want to talk about, like, what the fuck are they doing? Ghostlight.
Well, indeed, because I imagine if I stayed awake during the middle of Ghostlight, I would understand. I would have understood what on earth was going on. No,
Nope.
you wouldn't have.
Definitely wouldn't have.
You would not have. I didn't though, and so I woke up, and there's a spaceship in the basement, weird bug creatures, a glowy dude who's anti-evolution, and the whole thing feels very Rocky Horror. It does feel a bit Rocky Horror, doesn't it? Yeah.
It feels like, and I say this completely as a compliment, it feels like a regional theatre amateur dramatics performance of the Rocky Horror Show.
Oh.
I say that as a compliment. Like, that's the vibe it gives off. It's a lot of fun and it's ridiculous, but then suddenly, like, an Eternal just shows up toward the end for the last third, and suddenly it's like, wait, this guy can unmake me with a touch? Like, what is happening?
I absolutely love it.
This guy who looks like Peter Cook, covered in flour, can unmake me with a touch?
This was Chloe's first classic
That'd
Who.
be lunch, yes.
This was Chloe's first classic Who story, and oh boy, was she confused!
What a fucking baptism
not
of
surprised.
fire!
You're just starting up with Ghostlight. Like,
Oh my
I love
God.
Ghostlight, but oof. So to conclude, what classic stories would you suggest for me and Chloe to watch next now we're done with the end of the classic series? Sorry for the very, very long email. It's better than Doug Walker's. Yeah, it's true. It is.
Very, very true.
Right, so you've watched all of McCoy's last series. So you've seen what? Battlefield, which is fine.
It's pretty fun.
It's pretty fun. Ghostlight, which I love, but it's completely baffling because it should have been 4 episodes long and ended up being cut down to 3.
Batshit mental.
It's just... I love it. I love it. It doesn't make any sense.
Curse of Fenric.
Curse of Fenric is a stone cold classic. And
Bizarre last episode, because it's sort of like, you kind of have to remember what Ace has been through and everything in that last one for it to
you kind of have to
work.
watch... You kind of have to watch season 26 in order.
Yeah.
And then Survival sort of caps it all off.
With a nice, like, neat, simple story that just works
And
really well.
It's one of those things that... Season 26 is interesting because it is the blueprint for what would become New Who. Because it's got a companion character arc and, you know, a bit more depth to the character of the Doctor and...
An anchoring of a home environment of sorts.
Yes.
And like, people she knows back on Earth.
Yeah. So I think it's a pretty strong season, actually, to start with. Just, but Ghostlight is baffling.
Yeah. I do enjoy it, though. I mean, my go-to is always, if someone's like, I want to try Classic Who, my go-to is always Spearhead from Space.
Spearhead from Space.
Because it's just, it works, and if you like the setup, you can then just carry on.
Tomba's first season 12.
Yes, yeah.
Clunky special effects aside.
Yeah, maybe don't start with Robot. If you want to pick one to begin with, maybe watch either Ark in Space. Or Genesis of the Daleks. Because if you're familiar with the show, like, that would be so here's the original series, like, take on the Daleks and what they mean, and it holds them away from you as well long enough that you kind of want to see them in action.
But also I think that...
And you never really do.
No. But
you learn about creepy fascists and mutated Nazis.
Ark, Sontaran Experiment, Genesis, and Revenge of the Cybermen all form a nice little arc.
And if you're gonna commit to that,
watch
Robot
just watch Robot as well. It's a regeneration story, and yeah, it's got some clunky special effects, but it's actually pretty decent. And it's got a robot with a fucking Electra complex, Oedipus complex, and it turns giant. It's got
Professor Kettlewell and his hair.
Professor Kettlewell's hair. It's got fascists, scientist fascists.
Sarah Jane using her journalism to do shit.
And a womanly
while the Doctor faffs around in different outfits in a room. It's got that skipping sequence. Oh my god.
The skipping sequence. It's got Harry Sullivan.
Is an imbecile.
You
won't find that out until the end of the season. There's your arc.
That entire season's got Harry Sullivan.
Bad Wolf? Nah. Harry Sullivan is an imbecile. There's an arc I can get behind.
Honestly,
Season 12.
I still feel sad that the Harry, Sarah, fourth TARDIS team didn't get more time.
Yeah.
Because it's just so strong.
Harry's apparently part of Time Fracture. I've seen numerous mentions of him being part of Time Fracture, and I'm like, so does someone play him in it?
Yeah, that's
Or
weird.
is because I know there's a bit of jumping around in time in it, so is there a section of an older unit maybe? Because the Titan comics, again, not necessarily canon, but the Titan comics have set up that in the Brigadier's absence for a while, or I think it's immediately after his sort of initial retirement or whatever, Harry's in charge for a while of unit. And it sort of goes to pop. It goes to pop for a bit, because it just doesn't quite work the same way.
Because Harry Sullivan is an imbecile.
He is. It's in a Ninth Doctor story where a little kid can create kaiju with his mind by accident, and he thinks he's playing games. And there are kaiju bursting out of rivers in Wales and things like that. It's pretty great.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Any
Spirit from Space.
Season 12.
The Five Doctors, if you want something daft and accessible.
It is very daft. It is quite accessible. It's very daft.
And also, it's easier to digest because it's a movie. It's just over 2 hours, and then you're done.
But if you're not familiar with it, if you're not familiar with the classic series, it can lead you down a foot of wiki hole, because you're like, oh, who's that person? Or who's that person?
I think mostly the companions might confuse you.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think you get enough of a gist just from how the Doctors react to them. Plus, you get to sample a few different Doctors, and then if you like them, that's who you can pick next if you want to go forward and watch an adventure.
You get to sample Richard Hurndall sampling pineapples.
God, oof. Beginning the long tradition of the first Doctor being recast multiple times.
Yeah. Don't go back to the black and white stuff until you've got
a vibe for
sort of vibe for the thing, and stay away from longer stories. So, like the rest of Pertwee's first season after Spearhead.
Yeah, watch Spearhead. Watch Spearhead, then skip to Terror of the Autons.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Because then you get a nice little box set. Here's the question: are you watching it on Blu-ray DVD or are you watching it on BritBox? Because if you're watching on BritBox, we're not sponsored, but if they'd like to, no thanks. You can of course jump around to your heart's content.
I do want to give BritBox a go. Actually, I might
give it a spin.
But
if you watch them on DVD, pop into your local HMV safely, obviously, and grab the Mannequin Mania box set, because that's Spearhead from Space and Terror of the Autons.
Yeah.
So you get Start Series 7 with a really... Basically, Spirit from Space is the classic era as the 11th Hour.
Yeah.
It's just a really strong opening story for a Doctor who's coming to terms with who they are. It's set in mostly an English countryside village setting. A village hospital plays a big role in what's going on.
Yeah.
The Doctor in both stories gets his costume by just nicking clothes from a hospital worker's locker.
Yeah.
God, the 11th Hour's got a lot of homages to Spirit from Space in it, doesn't it?
One might think it's almost deliberate.
Oh my god. And then Terror of the Autons is the Series 8 opener, which gives you Joe Grant, more Autons, and the introduction of the Master. Mortons. Rick and Morton.
I will get to that.
Morty, you're an Auton.
So yeah,
jeez.
I
thought I was a decoy.
5th, 6th, and a lot of 7th can be a bit up and down. So don't dive into that stuff until you've, like I say, got a vibe for it. Same with it. Stick around. The 70s is
probably the most palatable era for a newcomer.
Pertwee and the first half of Tom Baker's tenure, I think, are your sort of strongest diving into classic Who eras. Because those are kind of the eras that made the show beloved overseas as well. Because it was like the Tom Baker stuff on PBS in the States.
The constant circulation.
Yeah, that really put that stuff out there. And so I think that's the way to go.
Funnily enough, I have 2 Blu-ray sets arriving today as well.
Oh, yay!
I've got the, because I've been buying the streamlined version of the collection.
Yes.
And because they're not bad. It's like $36.99.
Yeah, they're not bad at all.
It's not bad at all. So I got Series 12 and Series 19, which came out last month.
Yeah.
And then this month, no further releases right now, but this month, today, the day of recording, 4th of July, they've brought out Series 18. So I get to watch Tom not giving a shit anymore. And a couple of really strong stories. And a lot of other ones that I'm not that fond of, but whatever. Although, then again, we're sat on a couch where, like, I think Logopolis is kind of shit. And you love Logopolis.
I do love Logopolis.
You love it for its entropy.
It's just so melancholy. I love it.
Whereas I freaking love Keeper of Traken. I think Keeper of Traken's like
Keeper of Traken's fine.
Tom. But I think that's because I really like Anthony Ainley as Tramus.
Yeah, I do like
It's a great performance, which adds to why it's such a gut punch at the end. Because you're like, no! Oh, come on, he was nice!
No!
You get to look at that face be evil for the next, 10 years. It's like, oh my god.
Evil face!
And then Series 10.
Yes!
So, 3 Doctors and...
yes!
And The Green Death.
Green Death's so good.
Yeah. My first John Blu-ray set. Woo!
I think Green Death was one of the first stories I watched, but it was repeated on the BBC in the early 90s.
It's so good.
It's Green Death and Pyramids of Mars.
And that one's got an alternate cut as well, hasn't it? It's like a TV movie length version where it's been edited. It was for broadcast syndication or something.
There might be. That's not the version I saw though, because I saw that it was in chunks on Sunday mornings, I want to say.
Wake up on a Sunday morning, grab your cereal and stare at some maggots.
I remember
and listen to a lot of very thick accented Welsh people.
I think I was eating Wheatos at the time.
I was eating Wheatos at the time, my dear. We should probably mention it real quickly. Evil of the Daleks is coming out.
Yes.
And thank fucking Christ, the animation style they've gone for is the Cosgrove Hall, Scream of the Shalka, the Infinite Quest animation, and not that CGI stuff that they've trialled for, Web of Fear, which I think looks, personally, subjective opinion, I think looks fucking terrible.
Yeah, I've not seen the Web of Fear stuff, but Macroterra was alright, I thought.
Well, yeah, again, because that's the Cosgrove kind of style, but they use CG almost performance capture style for the Web of Fear episode that they've redone. I'm like, I will stick to my Telesnaps version.
Odd choice.
Thank you very much.
Odd choice.
It just looks really weird. It's like watching But Ugly Martians or Reboot. Like, everyone just moves a little too much. You're like, why are you doing that? So it's to show life, so they're not just static models. Yeah, but human beings do stay still sometimes.
Life.
It's the Doctor Who animation equivalent of the before the fight screen on Mortal Kombat or whatever. It's like everyone's bobbing up and down. Why are you doing that? Well, because back in the day it was a way to show that they're living characters and not just no, it's fine. You don't have to do that here. Pat Troughton is sat in silence thinking. He doesn't have to be flailing his arms around like Cthulhu. He's totally fine. Just let him do his thing. It's really, really weird. It's really, really weird. But yeah, anyway, Evil of the Daleks, that's coming out, isn't it? Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing it in as full a version that you can.
Yeah, because I've never really seen
the
Evil
one
of the
episode
Daleks.
I've seen, the one surviving episode, is really fun.
Yeah, I hear it's really good.
There's
people
a
hold those
in the back of this antique shop, and it takes you to the Victorian era where the Daleks are hatching a plan using a girl genius's mind. And it's like, what a great setup. It's really creepy.
Yeah. And people speak of those two late 60s Dalek stories really fondly.
Gives us our first Emperor.
Yeah.
Like a proper chunky boy in the corner of the room.
And I love Power.
Yeah, Power's great.
Because, partly because of nostalgia, because I had the audio narrated with the Lincoln narration by Tom Baker on cassette as a kid, and I listened to that a lot.
Is that the one where he recalls it? He does it in character as the fourth Doctor, recalling an adventure he had as the second Doctor.
Yeah, it's really good. I think Pertwee did Evil, didn't it?
Possibly.
Because they did the same thing with the Daleks, and I think that was... It was either Pertwee or Colin Baker who did that one.
I recall a wonderful time when I went back and fought the Daleks in the Victorian era. There's probably a throwaway joke in the opening about me finding it hard to recall. It's almost like somebody's taken the memory and taped over it.
I'm going to look that up. now.
Sarah Jane, do you have 4 hours? Let me tell you my unabridged rememberings of
Very
of an
abridged.
adventure I had with a
Very
with
abridged.
an adorable Scottish man in a kilt. And he's found a copy for $11.99.
This is sold. It just says starring Patrick Troughton. I'm just so
confused.
so
It'd say on the front, wouldn't it, if it had perfect narration.
But then I don't know if the
narration.
No, it is narrated by Tom Baker.
Oh,
I guess he did both of them.
Leela, do you have 2 hours and a cassette player?
But I only had power, so there we go.
He's got the power.
Tried reading the John Peel Target novelisation. It's fucking terrible.
Is it? Is it bad?
John Peel is not the DJ John Peel, obviously. Different John Peel, who wrote Doctor Who's novels. Not regarded as one of the strongest Doctor Who writers.
I've been on a Target binge lately.
But he did a lot of the Dalek
nice
stuff. Like, he did the Target novelisations for Power and Evil. And then he did the 8th Doctor, Past Doctor Adventure Dalek stories. When the BBC took over the books range, so... Because they didn't use him in New Adventures, did they?
No, I don't think so. What, and the 8th Doctor?
No, the New Adventures, the Virgin ones. They didn't use the Daleks at all.
Oh, no, yeah, no, there was the whole alleged Termination Estate thing. Yeah. I think there's mentions of them, but they're never the focus of a story.
But there's never a Dalek story.
So out of all the Targets I've been reading so far as well, my favourite people to adapt the stories are Terrence Dicks. He just does a really wonderful prose.
Yeah.
And Ian Martin. Like, his Target novelizations are really good
his
as well.
His are quite highly regarded. My dad's got a relatively complete Target collection, so I'll have to dig into what he's got.
The next one I'm going to read's the new print, so the new cover. Eric Saywood novelisation of Revelation of the Daleks.
Oh, Eric Saywood and his bloody Cybermen. This one comes in from Elena. She says, "Dear Christopher Eccleston and Matthew Waterhouse."
Oh, I'm so sorry. You could have been Matt Smith, but you're Andrew.
Matthew Waterhouse.
Now you'll never know if you were right.
What are we Westworld today?
What?
For you, I have a question. The first question. The question that must never be answered. Written in plain sight.
Matt and Chris reluctantly answer Doctor Who questions.
Do you put cream first or jam first on your afternoon scones? Listen. Listen, this is how you do it.
Oh.
It's got to be clotted cream.
Sure.
Got to be clotted cream.
I'll agree. Yeah.
And what we do is, you slice the scone.
No.
You get...
Yeah, never have pre-sliced scones.
No, you got to slice the scone.
Got to slice it.
You got to do your dollop of jam with a little spoon.
Mm-hmm.
You put it on and then you spread it around with the bottom of the spoon. And then you, using a different spoon, not the same spoon, because you don't want to cross-contaminate them too early, I'm going to get close to the microphone. What you do is you get a nice big dollop of thick clotted cream and you just sort of...
The gesture you're making with your hands is worrying me.
Just slop that on top of the jammed scone.
The word slop.
And that's how you do it. You can't put jam on top of the cream because what you want is you want to get the sweetness of the jam into the into the pastry, into the dough of the scone, the sweet bready bit of the scone. And then you want the cream to sort of seal that in. So you're getting sort of a jam sandwich between lovely fluffy scone and this thick, sweet clotted cream. That's how you eat scones.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little aroused.
Yeah, that's what you should be.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
Just a tad aroused.
Do you have a jam and cream opinion?
I just think it all tastes nice, doesn't it?
Who puts jam on top of the cream? Because you do a big dollop of cream, don't you? You don't do a little thin spread of clotted cream. You just do a dollop. So if you put jam on top of that, your flavours are uneven.
A little zhuzh.
Yeah.
I don't eat scones enough to have a specific preference.
You should eat scones. Well, once the lockdown ends, you should go down to Devon. You should get yourself an afternoon cream tea.
What, sorry?
An afternoon cream tea. Rum punch.
Wasn't expecting that, but okay.
Now for the real question.
Oh, sugar.
What is the first comic book you remember reading? Was it good, Or was it One More Day? Mine was Sex Criminals at the recommendation of my housemate. Goodbye, my dears!
Sex Criminals is a first comic. Holy shite!
P.S. Isn't the Spider-Man life story great? I'm looking forward to the rest of the Fantastic Four life story as that comes out as well. I have not read Spider-Man life story. I hear it's good.
I have. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I hear it's really good.
And it works well as its own thing, but it's especially a treat if you know you sort of the eras and events.
If you know your Spidey, yeah, I should read some.
And Mark Bagley illustrates the whole thing, and it's just
it's
that beautiful consistency of like, because like 90s Bagley is sort of seen as like classic Bagley, but like I'm sorry, late Ultimate, late 2000s Bagley for me is like that's
Ultimate.
Oh, by that point it's like, mate, what you're doing, I like it.
I am picking.
I like it a lot.
What you're putting down,
and this is like the sort of the perfect example of it all.
I think the earliest
I've not read the
stuff...
Fantastic Four one, but I will do. Oh, it's really annoying. Sorry, I just remembered they're releasing a one-off extra Spider-Man life story that is from the point of view of J. Jonah Jameson.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's just like him through the decades. And I'm like, that's great. And is it Chip Zdarsky, I think, real life story?
Yeah.
Zdarsky and Bagley have come back to do it.
Yeah.
And it's being released as just an issue. And then Life Story's getting reissued with that added into it.
Oh,
and I'm like, I've already got it though!
That's a good job I've not bought the trade, isn't it?
Yeah, well, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up getting Marvel Unlimited and I'll just read it on there.
Yeah.
I'm like that at the minute. I'm currently going through a lot of Volume 1 graphic novels that I've picked up for cheap or at places like The Works and that over the years. And I've made the mental note of, if I enjoy it, I'll read the rest on Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah.
It's like I read Totally Awesome Hulk, first volume, night before last.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it.
Plus, also...
It's really dumb and brilliant.
Marvel Unlimited is all single issues, so it's easy dipping in and out of stuff.
Yeah. I've also read the first 15 issues of Immortal Hulk.
Oh, it's very good, isn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's very good.
It's fucking terrifying.
Yes.
Especially the entire section set in what is essentially hell beyond the Green Door.
Yes.
It's just like, this is some of the most visually unnerving stuff I've ever seen.
There's some really nasty stuff in there.
And 3 issues ago, a dismembered Hulk reformed around a man.
Such a great moment. It's so great.
And last night I started reading Slott's Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah.
And during that first arc, there's that bit where like Johnny finds the Hulk because everyone who's ever been in the Four has been summoned to this place, and the Hulk's just like, you didn't see me. And I'm like, why is that? Oh, it's around the time of Immortal. Oh, of course. And it was like, that's great. Sorry, we just went off.
I think I read the first 12 of Slott's Fantastic Four.
Is what you read, the first year or so.
Yeah, because I've not read it up to the point where, because at some point they age Valeria and Franklin up.
Even more? Because at the start of it, Reed, after Secret Wars, Reed and Sue and the Future Foundation have lived through what they assume is 5 years, which has only been like a year for everyone in
so later on,
because when Ben and Johnny first read out, and they're like, "Oh my god, like you two are so old now, like you're young adults." So it's like, no, they're like 13.
Yeah, later on they're like proper teenagers.
Oh, okay,
Age up a bit more. So
I've
not read up to that bit.
That'd be interesting. But yeah, no, I like what's been put down so far.
Yeah, I dig it. I just like that.
All the stuff with Ben and Alicia is just
it's
wonderful.
really sweet.
I'm about to dive into issue 5, the oversized and the wedding special.
Yeah, so. It's good. It gets good. It stays good. Slot Iron Man, not so much fan, but it's Fantastic Four, really good. First stuff I remember reading would be probably the strips in Doctor Who magazine.
Which would have been, who by that point would have been McGann?
Well, I'd have been reading my dad's old ones.
Of course, yeah.
So I would have been reading like the Dave Gibson 4th Doctor stuff, the 6th Doctor stuff with Grant Morrison. That just weird period. Like those strips some of those strips are really fucking good.
Weird period where a load of like up and coming British comic book writers,
I honestly think that
are all about to blow up and make waves shortly afterwards in American comics.
I honestly think that modern DWM strips are nowhere near as good as they used to be.
I mean, if they're around, as of right now, it's been it's on hiatus.
Yeah,
because I'm assuming cost reasons.
Imagine DWM without the strips.
Well, it's happening, and people are tuning out. Yeah, they're not reading it Because it was like one of the last continuing features.
Yeah, because I
he says is one of the features that was dropped.
I didn't like the sort of the Ninth Doctor era stuff. I didn't love like it felt cheaper. It felt like they were cheaping out on it.
Yeah, I didn't mind the Ninth Doctor era myself, but then again, I read that as a trade after. I got the collected version that came out like 6-7 years ago. So
yeah.
And the last time I read one, when I used to get it, the last time I read one that I really liked was there was a 2-part, might have been 3-part, 12th Doctor story, where the 12th Doctor and Clara get involved in this incident at an Arctic base and accidentally run into one of the Clara splinters.
Oh.
Obviously now having full context for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the splinter really begins to freak out.
Yeah.
Because, of course, why the hell has someone showed up who looks exactly like her? And it becomes this... like it's sort of a great idea of, like, yet there are still consequences for that. Like, there are still... there are women living their life throughout the universe that you created in, like, an instant with this one event who still, even if they don't come across the Doctor, they will... do you know what I mean? It's split across his timeline. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all going to show up prior to them being created in his timeline.
Mm.
So you're probably going to meet other ones at some point as well. And they're probably going to freak out too. And it's like, that's a great idea. And it was a really cool little comic, but it was mostly cool because they take the concept that it was like, yeah, the TV show's just moved on now, but imagine.
Give it 10 years and Big Finish will do 6 box sets about it.
The Claras. Season 12.
It also might
Clara
have been...
meets Jago, not Lightfoot. And also Strax for reasons.
It also might have been the X-Men Adventure stuff that was a tie-in with the 90s TV show.
Yeah.
Or the Essential X-Men reprints that we got over here, that we still get over here. But
yeah,
at that point, the earliest ones I remember reading would have been... I was reading probably 95, 96, so they were reprinting stuff from 91, 92, like post-Jim Lee, X-Men relaunch, like post-Executioner's Song.
Isn't that weird to think? That for a good chunk of the 80s, 90s and early 2000s, if you wanted to read comics in the UK, US comics, you were reading way behind.
Or you were going to somewhere that was important.
Yeah. But then, like, there wasn't as many places for that, I suppose.
Planet, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's a weird thought.
It's
like I was enjoying like early Ben Reilly Spider-Man stories in the very late 90s, and it's like, little did I know this was already done.
Yeah,
It'd been and gone.
Yeah, because I remember I picked it up again not long after the first X-Men movie.
Ah, the movie.
Or just before the first X-Men movie, and they were post-Onslaught at that point.
Jeez. Yeah, okay.
So it was like 99 and they were reprinting stories from like 96, 97.
So closest I got to recent releases in that kind of method for ages was Ultimate Spider-Man, and that was a couple years late, and they made it last longer by making the second story in a lot of them the Ultimate Spider-Man team up.
Yeah.
So that at least padded it out so they could hold off issues for a little while and everything.
So they're a lot closer now. I think they're about a year behind now.
The UK collections.
Yeah. Because they're currently reprinting the early, or like the mid-period Age of X stuff.
Okay.
Dawn of X stuff. I mean, the Jonathan Hickman.
I think in the modern day, those versions of it mostly exist for people who just like want to save some cash.
Yeah, because they're just cheaper than getting the individual issues.
Spend like £4 on 3 issues of a comic in one issue, and it's like fair enough.
Little mini trades. But also the titles rotate in and out in terms of like what's part of the range. That you can be getting one thing that's like reprinting these 3 titles, and then that ends, and then you can't pick those titles up anymore.
Yeah. You know? I mean, I didn't hate that with Summer, but one of my favourite versions of that was Mighty Will the Marvel, when they started doing that again in the early 2000s.
Yes. Because that goes back, that as a title goes back to like the 70s.
Yeah, and they sort of used it the same way. It was starring... It was called Mighty Will the Marvel, starring Daredevil and the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Because they would prioritise... At first, it was the 3rd strip was a Daredevil or Incredible Hulk strip.
Yeah.
And the first 2... strips. Like the first 2 books out of the 3 that was in each one was an event one. They started with Contest of Champions 2.
Oh, Jesus.
So that was what they began with, and I had a lot of fun with that. That was like my first sort of exposure to the idea
that's a
of
deep
battle
cut, though,
building.
isn't it?
It's fucking great. It's the one where like Storm is absolutely kicking Thor's ass, and then Thor wins her over like by charming her.
Yeah.
They have a conversation. He gets in close. They kiss, and he just drains all of the lightning out of her because he's like, "I'm the god of thunder, motherfucker."
There's just a spark between us.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, it's such a great series. But yeah, so it's and then after that, it became the first strip in the book would be a more modern story of something.
Yeah.
The second one was always a 70s Daredevil reprint, and the third one was a 70s Hulk reprint.
Mm.
And that was great for me, because it was like, oh, what you're picking up is a nice like selection of different things, and you get to experience different stuff. That's how I got to read Frank Miller's Daredevil run, because it was reprinted in there over like a year and a half.
Very nice.
Very, very good.
Nice.
My first comic book was the Beano.
Yeah.
That was it. It was a weekly thing for years, from like the age of 5.
I never got big into the Beano, or the Dandy for that matter. I had a couple of like...
I didn't like the Dandy as a kid.
I
was like, nah, Beano's characters are way more fun. Forget the cowboy eating a big bloody pie with cow horns sticking out of it. I'm not fussed about that.
I had a couple of annuals. Like, a lot of my early reading was like old annuals. You know, the hardback annuals that like Grand Dreams and that did. So I had a bunch of Transformers ones which had comic reprints in. I had a couple of Fantastic Four ones which had comic reprints in. I had a couple of Beano and Dandy ones. I had a couple of the Ghostbusters ones.
Yeah.
Which had the old like early 90s real Ghostbusters strips in. Yeah, so that was also a lot of my early reading. Fun.
It's good stuff. It's good. Yeah. It was that, and it was that Justice League comics. But when was Justice League out? The Justice League JLA cartoon. When did that first come out?
Oh,
it was like 99, maybe.
Yeah, around the turn of the century.
Because that was I had a good chunk of that around that time, like annuals and stuff, and that was fun too.
But yeah, that was a lot of my alert. So I had a good mix of like American superhero-y stuff, and then like British comedy, British sci-fi stuff. Bit of 2000 AD. Had a couple of 2000 AD annuals.
Yeah.
So that had like Slain and ABC Warriors and Judge Dredd in it. That kind of weird. So it was a good mix. Yeah.
Why are all of our artists really fucked up? Why does all the stuff over here look really creepy?
That's what it is to be British. Some Thags, Future Shock, all that good stuff. Anyway, TV this week.
Yes!
What happened? Well, first of all, let's do Rick and Morty first, because we can briefly talk about it.
You would say that.
Because I'm a decoy.
You're a decoy.
I think this... Multiplicity.
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's a great example of what the series does when the series works best, where it takes a sci-fi concept and just plays it out to its most extreme conclusion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then when you think it's gone all as far as it can, it keeps going.
Yeah. Oh, good luck. I mean, it's the most Red Dwarfy episode of Rick and Morty I think we've ever had as well.
It's when the show just sort of continues to extrapolate a sci-fi idea as far as it possibly can and then goes further. That's when it works best as like a deconstruction of sci-fi tropes. And I think this episode was a really good example of that, and also funny as fuck.
Oh god, yeah. For those who don't know, plot basically is family, everyone at Rick and Morty, they're all having a great time. The Smiths are having a lovely dinner or whatever, and then they get murdered by some aliens.
Yeah,
and then an alert sounds off to a completely different Rick and a completely different set of the Smiths that their decoys have been killed by aliens, so they've got to prepare for it.
Yeah,
and then it just keeps happening, and keeps happening. Until one of the families realises that they made decoys and those decoys have made decoys. And that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of that house and that family around the United States.
Just nested levels of decoys.
Just so many decoys, and it just keeps going. Like, it never lets up. you don't begin the story with characters that you end the story with.
Or do you?
And anyone who's too deep into the continuity of Rick and Morty, which they are now openly mocking if you are.
Oh, yeah.
Like, by the end of it, we'll be like, which Rick and Morty are we up to? But it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't fucking matter. It does not matter. It is well funny. And it's the fact that you get the alternate decoys, because eventually they either run out of materials.
Yeah,
or they're decoys that have been made by decoys that have been made by decoys that are like rejected or hidden or in the woods.
Or the sort of the technology and art becomes corrupted as it goes further down the line.
The puppet ones.
It's so good.
The Pinocchio style ones with the electronic voice boxes. Including that post-credit scene with the Jerry one. Oh my god, it's so disturbing.
I think I probably laughed more during this episode than I have since season 1.
Do you know what?
It's so funny.
Last series had some of the best ones since it began, and this series so far is now 2 for 2.
It's because they're taking their time with it.
And also, it's because they've gone back to that series 1 mentality.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying series 2 or 3 isn't good. Like, it is. But there's something about series 1 where it's just, we just want to present some fucking weird ideas and have fun with them.
It's like I say...
Last year, the last series, the heist episode is of the same level. It's that thing of just, we're taking a concept and going, wait, the Vat of Acid episode. which I love that we all call it the Vat of Acid episode, when that really is just like a fraction of why that's a good episode.
Yeah.
But it's just what it's called. But, oh my god, just... Yeah, this was... And it never lets up. There's no breathing room in this one. It's just 22 solid minutes of we are going to make you piss yourself.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
Oh my god.
Every time you think you've reached a climax, it just keeps going. And it's just... Oh, man. It's really smart stuff. I think also it's because Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon have sort of stepped back and let more writers have at it.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's even sort of a nod to that in this. There's a bit where you think about 2 minutes in the episode outright just says to you that it's actually an interdimensional cable episode.
Yeah.
And then interdimensional cable begins, we get one advert, and then they move on. It's almost them going, yeah, we're not going to keep doing that. We're not going back to our well. Like, there's more people, which is exciting because a lot of these writers are now moving on to work on bigger stuff. And
yeah.
You know, I'm sure Siobhan Thompson's written one this series as well, from formerly of College Humor.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, she's written one. So it's like, it's just, you know, the level of sort of talent that they're bringing in now is expansive and playing around with it.
Oh, she's a staff writer, so...
Oh, so they brought in comedy writers to basically hash everything out now.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if she's actually worked on any specific episodes or she's a staff writer.
Well, no, she's mentioned on Twitter that there's one this series that's her baby.
That might have been hers then, we don't know. Childrick of Mort, star Mort Richter of the Jerry, she worked on for last season. And yeah, she's worked on both of the first ones.
Hey.
Both of these ones for this season.
So yeah, it's good. If you've never been fussed about Rick and Morty or like many folks, you've just been put off by its fandom, don't worry about it. Don't even trip, dog. Don't worry about it.
Active contempt for the more toxic elements of its fandom.
Yeah,
which I fucking
openly
love.
hates them. Like last year with the narrative train one, they make a big point saying like fuck off. Yeah. And then at the end of the series, knowing those people have gone away, they're like, right, Tammy and Phoenix Person, let's finish that.
Yeah.
Have they gone? Right, let's give you one of the things they wanted, but only because we have a good story about a father-daughter relationship in the middle of it instead.
Phoenix Person.
Oh, it's so good! You should have hunted me!
With just no explanation, just random subplot. What the... What? And then it just carries on.
Yeah.
Just throws you this thing and then just carries on.
There's no need for it. It's not important. It's a throwaway joke. Here we go. Just, yeah. I loved it. I was caught up on Harley Quinn this week, which was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I haven't watched more Harley Quinn. I need to get back on that train.
It's the Ridley University episode.
Ridley University, we earned our crime degree.
They have all the best. They have the cleanest running water and electricity in all of Gotham, in all of New Gotham. Matt, that's why you need to enroll. That's why you have to enroll.
Okay, sure.
So they purely as a performer, Alan Tudyk is the MVP of that show. I mean, Kaylee Cuoco is incredible as Harley and getting it off the ground and making it work.
I mean, Alan Tudyk is great in pretty much everything he pops up in, isn't he?
In this as Clayface, oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god. I mean, Tony Hale as Mr. Psycho is pretty damn funny as well. But just Alan Tudyk is Clayface in this, and Clayface's undercover persona at the university, who's basically just like every character from Mean Girls rolled into one. And it's just like, this is phenomenal. Like, there's some phenomenal performance going on here. Especially because he still finds a time to do that, like, that over-dramatized delivery Clayface has.
Yeah.
Where he's, talking like this, and then manages to still slip that into her character in some places. It's great. I can't recommend it enough. It's horrible and really violent and funny.
That is good.
So yeah, God, what else? MODOK. I'm still on the MODOK train.
I've not watched any more MODOK.
It's mostly fun now because the strength of the performers is what's keeping me really on board.
I mean, that is the cast is what brings me.
Ben Schwartz as his son is the reason why this week's is my favourite episode of the run so far, because he accidentally falls into the trash can in MODOK's office that is a portal to Asgard, because every now and again he randomly throws shit in there that he doesn't like, because he knows it'll freak out the less Midgard familiar Asgardians.
Sure.
So like someone gets killed by a photocopier landing on them, and an entire war faction is set up in the woods preparing for the return of this creature that murdered that's what's great. But Ben Schwartz as his kid drops in and becomes part of like an entertainment empire in the middle of this troll encampment. Sure. Just Ben Schwartz and Patton Oswalt bouncing off of each other and being very funny.
I need to give it another chance, because it's just the first two episodes just weren't funny enough.
It's weird because it starts and you go, oh my god, it's like Harley Quinn, and it's like, oh no, it's a sitcom. It's a family sitcom.
And like a lot of family sitcoms, it's not funny enough.
Yeah, but I finished episode 1 like, do I want to carry on with this? But episode 2 was ready at the time, so I was like, go on, I'll watch one more, and it sold me a little more. And as it's gone on, the sitcom element has weirdly become my favourite part, because it just feels enjoyably weird that it's even in this setting.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, why is it here? Like, why are we watching a family sitcom? God damn it, they've got me. They got me now. Curtis you, especially because like MODOK's daughter is just another MODOK.
Yeah.
It's never really explained why she is also a giant floating head.
Well, she was born with a big head.
She has to have a support chair. And also the action sequence. There's a fight sequence in episode 5 between MODOK and Monica Rappaccini, which is the Scientist Supreme.
Yeah.
Which is fucking brilliant. Like it's proper sort of, oh, you guys have been waiting to do an action sequence, haven't you? Like it's just like this is brilliant. And again, bizarre. It's best compared to a Rick and Morty sci-fi fight. Where it's just different people pulling out different types of weapons and that kind of fight. It's It's just. It's weird. My only completely nitpicky issue with it is like how they're going to legit do MODOK at some point in something, because I think everyone's going to associate it with this style of humour now. Because Square Enix's Avengers did a pretty decent take on MODOK in its story mode, but like it was a shit game, so it's never really going to live up to anything. That being said, I read The Unbelievable Gwenpool Volume 1 last week, and he's played for laughs in that.
Fun. So, I think MODOK is often played for laughs because he's so fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, but I like it when they make him creepy. I do like it when they make him creepy. So
I can't wait.
I'm torn.
I can't wait for the inevitable next wave adaptation when we finally get the Elvis MODOKs. So
have you seen the toy?
No.
Fuck. Right.
No.
So
no.
I don't even know. I have no context for Next Wave. I have no context for Elvis MODOK. I don't know why.
You've not read Next Wave?
I've not read it.
Despite it being written by Warren Ellis, then it is it's very good. Also, it's a Monica Rambeau story. Well, she's a major part of the cast now.
So Hasbro announced a Next Wave MODOK Elvis. So let me show you the packaging first, because the packaging absolutely sums it up. So
I love it so much.
So here's the inside of the packaging.
I want it.
It's done like an amp case.
I want it.
It comes with it comes with the Captain as well.
Yeah, okay.
So an action figure of the Captain, which is just a Peter B. Parker body mold reuse, but whatever.
Yeah.
And there's Elvis MODOK.
Oh.
Look at him.
Oh.
Look at him. He's got the shades. He's got the hamburger laser.
Oh, it's so
and the
good.
comments are full of people like, fuck this, where's like my Star Wars vintage series, la la la, and it's like, oh, shut up and buy your Elvis Modoc.
Get your Elvis Modoc.
Can we also talk about the leaked Spider-Man Far From Home figures and how I fucking hate both costumes?
No.
I hate them. Yeah,
they look fine.
I think they look awful. I think they look really, 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 really bad. And that's my 2 cents. I like the Doctor Strange figure, though.
Yeah.
I think it looks really good. The Jameson figure is weird. That one leaked too, but Hasbro haven't put out their official pictures of it yet.
Well, they're cowards.
Oh, I got my Captain America wave this week.
Oh, that's nice.
My Disney Plus wave arrived. It's really good.
Speaking of Disney Plus. Spoilers from this point on. Spoilers from this point on for episode 4 of Loki, because some shit goes down in this episode.
Oh,
so if you haven't seen episode 4 of Loki, go and watch that before you listen to this. This is your last spoiler warning. We're going to spoil the episode straight away.
Everyone dies.
Well, you say that. Fucking Mobius gets pruned.
Yeah. Well,
although he'll be back.
That's the thing, isn't it? After the post-credit scene, I don't know if I believe in anything that happened.
Even before the post-credit scene, when they kill off Mobius, I'm like, yeah, he'll be back.
At the same time, I kind of hope he isn't. I kind of hope Loki's case is unique, but
Maybe.
I don't think it is, because I have a feeling that everyone who gets pruned is eventually brought back to work for the TVA without realising it.
Possibly.
And the Lokis just seem to have found like a separate little... Yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah, well, because of course what happens towards the end of the episode is our quote-unquote Loki gets pruned.
Yeah, the title Loki of the show gets pruned.
In the middle of declaring his love for Sylvie, which is a great, how fucking...
I wonder if it is romantic love or whether it's self-love. I'm wondering what it is.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's narcissism.
Yeah. Yes, which is very him.
He's essentially fallen in love with himself.
Loki. Also, yes, Sylvie. So, like, I read into it after you explained a bit to me last week, and I'm like, yeah. So it is Loki, but they're using traits
from the Enchantress, the second Enchantress.
Enchantress to sort of I'm down with that.
Yeah, because we also get a flashback at the beginning, which is the original apprehension by Renslayer of Sylvie
at a very young age, like super young.
Yeah,
and that's I think that's something that's been misinterpreted online, and I hope that this theory's proved wrong. But a lot of people have said, because when Sylvie says to her when they're going to the Timekeepers, like, so why? What was my Nexus event? Like, what was I? Yeah, that made me wrong and had to be pruned. And she's like, I don't even remember. A chunk of the internet have interpreted it as because she was a girl. It's like, I don't think that's what it's going to be.
I don't know.
I do not think that's what it's going to be.
I think if it is, I think it's a good way of showing how fucking petty the TVA are.
Or Ravonna and whatever she's up to, but like, I'd need to see more as to for me to buy that. I'd need to see more as to why it would be that case.
We'll see,
because I
that's what she seems to believe.
I'm kind of hoping that maybe it's just because I'm so sick of like looking at the not my doctor culture at this point that I'm just like, no, when we meet all these other Lokis in proper next week, can we have Lokis of all genders, shapes, sizes, ethnicities, please? Can we just have them all? So that it's just like, it's a freaking multiverse. Well, that's assuming why would they all be a dude?
That's assuming we are going to meet more Lokis, because what we do...
we do meet 4.
We do meet 4 in these the first post-credit scene of the series, and we finally get Richard E. Grant.
Yes, as credited as classic Loki.
You got classic Loki, boastful Loki,
which is the massive Loki. Dude with the fur collar
and the hammer.
Kid Loki.
Kid Loki.
Fucking Kid Loki. One of my favourite characters from modern comics.
And also, Kid Loki and classic Loki look like they've just walked out the comic.
Yeah.
Like, Richard E. Grant in his fucking 60s Loki outfit looks like he's walked out of a Jack Kirby book. And I've not got around to it yet, but I want to make that screen grab my desktop
Wanda
background.
And Vision in the Halloween episode, and Pietro in the Halloween episode of WandaVision. I'm like, they turn around to everybody who's grown up with these characters and gone, "You shall be fed.
I love it.
We shall feed you."
But also, if you want someone to play like a conniving 60s style Loki, who'd you get? You get Richard E. Grant.
Yeah. Oh god, it just looks. And the alligator with the little horns.
This alligator with a Loki helmet on. Is it Kid Loki's pet or is it an alligator Loki? Who could say? Who knows?
We're gonna find out. But with Kid Loki arriving as well, yet another member of the modern Young Avengers.
Yes.
Yet another one. Like, okay, we know America Chavez is on the way. Like, we've got versions of Billy and Tommy. Like, we've,
They were presumably going to play a bigger part in Multiverse of Madness, because...
Patriot exists.
Or the character who becomes Patriot exists.
In
We're
Falcon
getting
Soldier.
Kate Bishop soon.
In Hawkeye, yeah. We have Stature, who's not always in the Young Avengers, but like we have.
I don't think she's found a member, but she turns up later.
So it's like, okay, I see what you're putting stuff out there for potential future things.
Yes.
Not necessarily definite, but potential.
Which they are good at. They're good at like putting stuff there they can use later. Or not use.
Who was it who did the Young Avengers run from about 5-6 years ago?
Oh, Kieran Gillen. Yeah, Kieran Gillen and Jamie.
It's just a 1 year, like
12 it was like 14 issues or something like that. It was
so good.
Yeah,
So good. We just need
really
Hulkling now.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
So, what else? Sylvie is really good hand-to-hand combatant.
Yeah, well, that action sequence in the Timekeeper atrium, and also the reveal that so much going on in this episode. The reveal that the Timekeeper's fucking Wizard of Oz style automatons,
specifically Wizard of Oz, because you can barely understand what the fuck they're saying.
Yeah, well,
it's that much of an automated voice, like
the two of them are all right, but the one with like the walrus face is a bit like
yeah. But I also love how they looked. Like, so I was like, oh my god, that's CGI, but that's nice CGI. But hang on, no, it looks a little ropey when it did that, when it moved that way. And then it's like, oh yeah, because
it's moments a robot.
Later we're revealing that it is ropey. Like, it's a
all
robot. Bullshit.
Do we think this is Kang?
I'd say it's too late in the game to do that, but two things. One, if this were a movie, and they've just aped the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
We're about to enter the third act. We entered the third act.
Well, there's 2 episodes left. Yeah.
You could very easily be like, and here's what's really going on.
Well, that's
with
what's
2 episodes
going to happen.
to go.
Like,
yeah,
we're going to find out what's really going on.
Introducing a new character wouldn't necessarily be a misstep. It might be a little unsatisfying because you kind of want there to be a reveal of some kind that makes you go, oh, of course, and connect all the dots from what's happened so far. But, like, I'm not against there being an overseer who's been doing the whole thing. And also, they've confirmed this is season 1.
So maybe we won't get an answer.
Or we do, because they have room to expand later if they wish.
That's true.
And also, we know that Kang is showing up in Quantumania, which isn't for another 2 years.
So it wouldn't surprise me if you don't see Kang, but they set him up.
Yeah. Oh, it wouldn't be surprised me if they set him up and then they just whip out their Kang dick at the last second and go, here's a bit of him. Anyway, see you in the movies in 2 years, motherfuckers. Yes. Like, because we had that with Thanos, didn't we? Like, we had his cheeky grinning face, and then we didn't see him again for 3 years. Well, we saw 2 years, Guardians, and then 3 years setting up what's happening. And they played the long game with that.
Yeah, I just want to see.
If you're gonna follow Thanos, then you don't necessarily have to top the story arc of 23 movies.
Yeah.
But you have to at least go, right, which Avengers villain is significant enough that it could be an interesting arc going forward? Oh, their most recurring villain, Kang the motherfucking Conqueror.
Maybe they go with Immortus.
Do they?
Who is an older version of Kang.
So, oh god, so they build layers upon layers upon layers. Set up Kang and then set up that Kang is much worse later and that's a bigger threat even to Kang. That could work. That could absolutely work. God, what else? Mobius piecing it together was wonderful, and him trying to feel out Renslayer a little and probe.
Also, Comics Renslayer has links to Kang.
Yeah, they're very close.
Yes.
But I mean, just the scene where he's talking with her, and it's just that whole little thing of Loki's now told him what he believes is that, you are all Vengeance. And I believe Sylvia, I absolutely believe her. And Mobius is dismissive of it. And then thinks about it, and he looks at when Renslayer's, when she's signing the paperwork and using the pen from the other episode.
Yeah.
And you sort of see Mobius kind of looking at it and just thinking about, these souvenirs.
Yeah.
Like, are they just things from cases, really? Or are they from colleagues? Or, okay, this is interesting. The mention that Sasha Lane, her character from last week, is dead.
Yeah.
She's been bumped off screen. And the whole thing of what happened on the enchantment killed her. And it's like, we've not seen that happen.
No.
That's weird.
For good reason as well, yeah.
Who's our other C thingy? The other
B-15.
B-15?
Yeah.
Don't know if she's alive or not by the end of this.
I think she just gets knocked out. Because you don't see her get pruned.
But we do know that she has a full life. She's had a full life.
Yeah.
And that scene is that scene in the rain outside Rock's cart is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really haunting.
I like that you don't see her life.
Yeah.
You just see her reacting to seeing it.
Yeah. Like, that's horrifying enough, because she's suddenly been hit by this realisation.
Wunmi Mosaku.
She's great.
She's
really
really
good
good
in this. So, you have that, and then Mobius being pruned,
Yeah.
the way it's built to, and the way that he has that moment where he's like, he frees Loki from his prison, which we'll get into in a second, where he's like, I believe you. Like, let's look into this. They leave, and Renslayer's already there with some TVA guards. Yeah. And you can tell that Mobius is either, he's gonna take one of two steps. He's either gonna blag their way out of this, or attempt to, or just be open. And he chooses to be open.
Yeah.
And talks about how, like, maybe he used to own a jet ski or whatever.
I mean, it's Owen Wilson. Of course he owned a jet ski.
Yeah, which is like, and then gets pruned before he even gets to finish the thought.
Yeah.
It's like, that is horrifying. And, like, part of me hopes they stick to it, because how genuinely upsetting would that be if that is the last we see of him in this series? It would really add to the fact that, like, what the hell is going on and how ruthless it has been.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of don't want to see him again, but everyone's assuming that he's in an imaginary dimension with freaking with Lightning McQueen. All these other Owen Wilsons.
Now that...
We're here to tell you about the Owen Wilson Initiative.
Wow.
The world of Wilson. Welcome to WoW.
I don't think we're going to top that. I think that's a good place to end it.
It's like a kick in the balls from Lady Sif. I've got to mention that.
Oh God,
quickly.
yeah,
I have to mention that really quickly. So Loki's interrogation prison.
Oh God, yeah.
To essentially not just to cause him pain, but to lead him to self-reflect and open up, which he does.
Yeah.
Is a looped moment of a flashback where he got caught by Lady Sif after having cut her hair while she was asleep, and she walks up to him, and basically tells him he's alone, and a pig slaps him in the face, and then knees him in the balls, and then walks off. And then that moment keeps looping, except for him. So the pain is continuous. That was wonderful. It was also fucking wonderful to see Jamie Alexander again as Sif.
I'm just glad she's not stuck in the blind side still.
Blind
spot, not the blind
I
side.
love the fact they've confirmed as well that she is in Love and Thunder.
Yes.
And it's like, yes, we're going to get more ladies. So this is like just a little, hey guys, you remember Lady Sif? Yeah, you've freaking forgotten, haven't you? Here she is.
She back, baby!
Lady Sif, who has now appeared in 2 of the television shows.
One
Agents
of which is
S.H.I.E.L.D.,
no longer canon.
Well, yeah, James Gunn threw a spanner in the works, didn't he? He said that all the stuff pre-Disney Plus now is potentially not canon.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. It's even weird that you'd say that. Like, he seems pretty chill online overall. It's weird that he would sort of put, like, a line in the sand there, unless he knows something we don't about something going forwards.
Of course he does. He's James Gunn.
Yeah.
He writes.
I mean, I understand them decanonizing everything pre-Disney Plus if there's stuff they want to use that they have a different plan for.
It was also already dubiously canon because it was so loosely tied. Like, as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. went on, it got further and further removed from what was going on in the main MCU.
But then again, do you know what you could always do? You could always claim that all those shows took place in a different timeline.
Yeah.
So you could always be like, oh, Daredevil, it was a different timeline.
Yeah.
But don't worry, here's Charlie Cox playing him in our project.
Well, I don't know if it was ever confirmed, but apparently John Bernthal's returning for the Moon Knight show.
Oh, God, I hope so. Yeah, we finally had the confirmation this past week that Oscar Isaac is Moon Knight. Yeah. Because they've still not put a statement out, but he has posted a photo of him, like, with the designs and stuff and some of the art and everything as, like, an Instagram post with the hashtags Moon Knight and everything. Like, hello, Mark Spector or whatever. It's like, okay, so Oscar Isaac is officially in Moon Knight now after all the speculation. Because, we sort of live in an age now where sometimes they don't even confirm stuff. Like, if the rumour mill is either correct or too murky, they don't bother confirming it. They just wait to drop a trailer on it, which do you know what? Kind of prefer. I kind of prefer them holding everything back until we see a trailer. To me, that's more interesting. Because I like to be genuinely surprised. It's fun to speculate.
It is fun to speculate.
But, like, I like to not go along believing rumours. Like, I still don't know for sure about Spider-Man No Way Home. That being said, do you see Kevin Feige made sort of a throwaway joke in an interview about, like, someone said, so what, when are we going to find out more about No Way Home, whatever, and he said something along the lines of, like, ask Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
And it's like, that seems like a sort of, a jokey dig at that, but it's like, is this a play as well? is this a play as well? Like, is Alfred Molina not actually involved, and you've all come up with a cover story for a shits and giggles based off the rumours? Like, what is going on? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's no confirmation, but there are rumours flying around that
Bernthal's back as Punisher. I
Bernthal's
hope so.
back as
I really hope that even if the Netflix shows aren't going to resume as Disney Plus series or whatever at any point, I really hope that you don't shit on the canon of them, but you at least sort of, do you know what I mean? You let them be.
Yeah.
Like, you let them be their thing, so if people want to watch them and take them as canon. You know, Big Finish it. People want to take it as canon, they can.
Yes.
It's not contradicted massively in the main thing. But also, if that's going to be the case, can we please have our main casts from those shows pop up in other stuff?
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't
it? Just because then it's just like there you go. Because also just in terms of groundwork, like if you want Matt Murdock to make an appearance, why cast someone new and you know, have them settle into it when you can just go, Charlie Cox, come in and play Matt Murdock in this show. You know what I mean? Like, hey, freaking Mike Coulter, have you got 2 weeks free? Great, because we want Luke Cage to make an appearance in this.
Yeah.
Like, just have Kristen Ritter rock up. You know what I mean? Give us some more John Bernthal. Like, I want my D'Onofrio, damn it. I want my D'Onofrio Fisk. Even if he's not a main player, you just have him in the scene. And you go, oh my God, there he is.
Builds out the world, doesn't it?
Yeah, because then even if you don't know those shows, it's like, oh, cool, Kingpin showed up in this project. Even if it was for a minute. And I think you've teased the idea that can happen now by having, having Rhodey pop up in Falcon and Winter Soldier briefly.
Yeah.
And having Sif cameo in Loki. Like, you can do this. So, do it, you bastard.
You can do it if you're being cued.
What?
Also, you can do it if you big damn cast it.
Segue.
Send us some more emails, bigdamcontact@gmail.com. You can get us on Twitter @BigDamnCast. You can watch us at twitch.tv/BigDamnStream. And of course,
keep the lights on.
You can help us by giving us a little bit of cash over at patreon.com/BigDamnCast. Until next week, when we'll be talking about...
Oh shit! Oh, of course, yeah, folks.
Because what are we seeing on Wednesday?
Folks, get ready next week for a spoiler-free and then spoiler-filled review discussion of Black Widow,
starring Florence. Pew 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 pew. If she doesn't do that now, I'm gonna be disappointed.
I'll be so upset when it doesn't know the Netflix skills and Taskmaster.
God damn it. Yeah, so until then,
yeah.
Dos Vidania?
Yeah. Coraline.